Hi and welcome to this video showing off this absurdly large drum kit which I purchased for the equivalent of $111.68 with all the hardware and cymbals and everything. It was made by Zygmunt Szpaderski in Poland, who, in addition to having more consonants than possibly any other drum maker in the history of the world ever, was one of the very few people who made drums in Poland during that time. He was active from the 50s to the 90s and basically just did everything by himself in a small one-man workshop with whatever materials he could get his hands on, which were somewhat limited at times, which is why you get all this rust on the hoops, because, you know, crappy alloys, crappy plating. And also the wrap on the drums is probably one of the ugliest drum wraps you've ever seen, other than the Estonian kit in another video we've shot. This is actually not a vinyl wrap like you'd expect on drums. This is actually kind of cheap wallpaper stuff that would be used as a finish for cheap furniture. Now on most kits this would be covered with a layer of clear plastic glued on top of it. This particular kit just has the wallpaper, which actually it's held up fine. It's only peeling off in a few places and no chunks are missing. So I guess it's worked well enough, and, you know, being covered with less glue and plastic, maybe it helps the shells resonate a little better, maybe not. This drum kit probably, I would guess, came from the early 80s, and that was a time when big drums were popular. Big and fat and deep was in, so it's got this 24-inch kick. That's about 18 inches deep. It's got an 18 by 16 floor tom. And then these rack toms are just stupidly large. The smaller one's 14 by 14, the bigger one's 15 by 15. Now I know that other people have made 14 and 15 inch rack toms, but they were usually, 12 inches in depth at most. These are really stupidly large. And they sound like that. In addition, the snare is also part of the kit, and it's an 8-inch deep snare. Right now it's tuned pretty high, but it was one of the few places where you could get an 8-inch deep snare in the Soviet bloc back in those days. So many of them are still around, and the snare also has a very complicated strainer, which we'll show some close-ups of, and an internal mute. So it's kind of an odd mix of the 60s style internal mute and the depth and the fancy strainer being, I suppose, more modern features. All these stands are also made by the same guy, all original and all with crappy plating peeling off. And the hi-hat stand is one of the heaviest hi-hat stands I have ever seen. It might come in handy if we ever decide to record samples of big old ride cymbals as a giant hi-hat. And the hi-hat itself was also made in Poland, but by the Polmuz factory. It's a complete piece of garbage. It's got an okay chick sound. It sounds fine closed, but open it up and it sounds terrible open. The ride and the crash are slightly better. They're made by Trowa in East Germany, also during the same time period, and the ride's actually not half bad. The crash maybe wasn't half bad at some point, but you can see the edges are all kinds of bent, and it probably doesn't sound like it used to. So it pretty much does that. And that's the whole kit, and now we'll get somebody who actually is able to play the drums, unlike me, to show you how these work in a more musical context. Thank you.